Hey, hello and welcome to Film Content Central. This is Arvind, and this is the show My Film, My Journey, where we talk to our guests about their journey in films. And while doing the same, we also try to understand a bit more about the person. And today, who we have on the show is a very talented actor and a versatile actress who's known for her films, including Makdee and Iqbal and Tashkent Files. She won a national award for her very first film for Makdee, and she continues to enthrall us in performances in web series like Tribhuvan Mishra CA Topper. Welcome to our show, Shweta Basu Prasad. Hey, Shweta, welcome to the show.
Hi, Arvind. Thank you so much.
Hey, great to see you. So, even as we speak, the weekend is unfolding. So, like us, do you also, wind up by catching up on the latest movies, catching up on what is latest on OTT? Do you do that?
I'm very spontaneous, and for me, it's never about weekend or a weekday. I take the day by how it
Yeah.
is, and of course, I do try to catch up on the latest series and films, but I'm very instinctive about it. और जब
Okay.
होता है जब हो सकता है definitely watch. I catch up on the latest films and series. But I have other things like today I'm attending a concert, or
Yeah,
I
of
might have,
course.
yeah,
Yeah,
catching
yeah.
up with friends or family. So it really depends on the day.
तो लेटेस्ट कौन सी मूवी देखी आपने थिएटर में या फिर ओटीटी पे कोई कैचअप किया?
लेटेस्ट अभी मैंने सीरीज खत्म की द बेयर सीजन
Oh
3.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
really like that series, and I like it that it ends with to be continued. So I'm like, yes, there's only one more season.
On Hotstar,
Um,
right? Yeah, yeah,
yes, that's right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I haven't seen a lot of films. I've been catching up more on series, and I've been reading a lot. And I
Okay.
have a couple of other works, जो कुछ काम है, कुछ pending काम है. So
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I've
yeah.
been winding up. I had a couple of dubbings, and then Tribhuvan Mishra का promotion था. Then there are a
Of
couple of other
course.
projects lined up. So
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Tribhuvan Mishra was great. We'll talk about that later. Let's start with your, like I said, right? Your initial start with films, Makdi, right? All the way back in 2002, if I'm not wrong.
That's right.
And also, Vishal Bharadwaj is absolutely one of my favorite directors. And Makdi was the first film which, probably I saw of his. It was one of the first films.
It's
I
his
was
first film.
amazed.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I was amazed to see that film because even though it was it was a bit of a children's film, let's put it that way, but Shabana Azmi's character, her makeup was done so realistically, the witch character makeup, it was done so well. And of course, I mean, you won the national award for that. So tell us about how you bagged that film. How old were you? What was that experience like?
Um, it was a couple of coincidences how I landed up with Makri.
Okay.
Um, Vishal ji was making a film called Barf with
Yeah.
Devgan's production before Makri. This is year 2000. Or
That never happened, right? That never released, if I'm, yeah.
it's never happened, not yet
Yeah,
at least.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And Hani Trehan was auditioning children for a kids part. तो उनके
Okay, okay,
introductions ले रहे थे. My
okay.
father had a meeting there for his own thing, and I happened to be with him.
Oh,
And
okay.
Hani did my introduction.
Yeah,
I think he picked me up from school or something like that.
yeah.
And वो बस ऐसे ही ले लिया था और वो it was just one of those fluke things that happened.
Okay.
And Vishalji really liked my test and he cast me for Makri. So there was no audition for Makri. I was
Oh,
obviously 10 years old. I had no idea what's happening. I didn't know who was Shabana Azmi. I didn't know who was Gulzar Saab, who was
yeah, yeah.
Vishalji. Parents, my mom especially, she's, a huge fan of parallel Hindi cinema.
Okay.
And yeah, so she is a big, big, big cinema buff. And my father has a theater background. He
Yeah,
did
yeah.
acting and direction, diploma from Shriram Center, Delhi. So मैंने
Okay.
reading, blocking, cinema, music, literature के माहौल में बड़ी हुई थी. तो Yeah, and then I turned 11 on Makdee's set
And
and I was having a blast. मुझे तो बहुत मजा आ रहा था.
yeah,
My mom made me watch Shekhar Kapoor's Masoom क्योंकि उस एज पे आपको पता नहीं शबाना आजमी कौन है. So
correct, correct.
uh, yeah, so I watched Masoom and yeah, now when I look back, I wish I can, go relive the experience again because I have so many questions to
Yeah,
ask Vishal ji, so many questions to ask Shabana ji, and but yeah, I think it's one of the best experiences. Today, if I'm working in cinema, if I'm continuing to act, it's because of Makdee, because it was such a
yeah,
good experience. It was such a good
exactly.
environment.
Because first
Vikramaditya
experiences
Motwane's
matter. Yeah, yeah,
absolutely Vikramaditya
yeah.
Motwane's mother, Deepa auntie, was the line producer of Makdee.
Oh, okay. Great,
Yeah,
great.
so
Okay.
she used to pamper me a lot, and I mean she still does, but so. She had organized my birthday party, I remember,
Yeah.
and set even with Abhishek Chaubey was the associate director.
Oh, okay, great.
Hani was part of the direction. So
Okay.
yeah, so now when I think about it, they're like
All of these, yeah,
everyone's like, yeah,
all
it
the
was like a
journeys almost
springboard
started
project.
together. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I
It
mean,
was a
were
great,
you?
great project. There was so much to learn, but overall
Yeah,
such a fun experience.
yeah, yeah. So you and your family, were you based in Mumbai when all of this happened, or did you shift here for the film?
No, no, I was born in Jamshedpur.
Okay, okay,
And we moved to Bombay when I was 5 or 6 years old.
okay,
But
okay.
that was my parents' decision. It has nothing to do with my
Nothing to do with
acting
the
career.
films.
वो तो
Okay, okay.
nothing to do with films or film
Got it.
industry or maybe they were exploring their own work opportunities,
Right,
business
right.
opportunities. And as I said, my dad had a theater background. My mom
Yeah.
enjoyed writing and, has been a movie buff. So I think they were interested in media. They wanted to do things in media. That's why when I said
They
Barf ka jo
shifted.
introduction tha, he had a meeting there. So obviously that was there, but it was never with an intention for me per
Mm.
se.
Got it, got it.
Mine was a happy accident.
What about Masoom? Because I mean, that was going to be my lead-up question. Because I believe, because you work with Shabana Azmi, Jean Makti, and she is a legend, right? And she has the experience of working with child actors like Jugal Hansraj and Urmila Matondkar in Masoom. And Vishal Bharadwaj, from what I know from his interactions in the media, he seems like a very sensitive person, a very sensitive director. So working with these two the very first time itself, it must have been a great experience for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, I was 11. So for
yeah,
me, it was very new. And these were the people जिनकी मुझे life experiences काम भी नहीं पता था. So as I
right.
said, like today, if I had to work with them, I'll have a lot more observations. I'll be a lot more aware. But
Yeah, yeah,
yes, extremely sensitive people. I
yeah.
remember the discussions, which were very enriching. And I think even after that with Iqbal, working with
Correct,
Nasir
correct.
uncle and Girish Karnad and Girish sir and Nagesh Kukunoor. So I think
Nagesh, yeah,
I've been really lucky with working with right projects and right actors, right directors,
correct.
because it's made me who I am. It's sort of
Yeah,
nourished and enriched me as a person. So,
yes.
it's 22 years ago. I don't even remember the conversations, but I remember that
Yeah,
they used to talk a lot and very sensitive, very sensible people, of course, good people.
good.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, their films are probably what really keep the
has
sensitivity.
shaped,
Yeah, it shaped so
absolutely.
many things. And just as I speak, I realize you've completed nearly 2 decades, like more than 2 decades in films, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. So, speaking about Nagesh Kukunoor, I mean, he was quite hotshot director at that time, right? And I mean, he's Rockford and Hyderabad Blues, Teen Diwar, I think came much later. But Iqbal,
Rockford.
Rockford, yeah, I mean, that's probably the definitive school college movie for a lot of people. And Iqbal, I think, was one of its biggest commercial hits as well, and critical hit as well, right? And you played Shash Talpade's sister in the movie, right? And I think it was his debut in Hindi films,
Yeah.
right? I mean, so that came, I think, 3 years later to Makdee, 2005 or
Yeah.
six. Yeah, yeah, great, great. Okay, so
Hey, so I want to discuss to you about a genre that's not discussed much, short films. And I believe that you yourself have directed one, right? Retake, that did a round of film festivals and that did great.
So Interior Cafe Night, that's one of my favorite short films that's come out of India.
Which
And
one?
Interior Cafe Night,
Right, of course, yes.
it's a beautiful movie. It's a beautiful movie.
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course, it stars again Naseeruddin, Shah, it stars Shahnas Patel, it stars you, and it's about
Reminiscences and remembrances, and about this old couple who thinks about their past and then what happens, right? It's available on YouTube for those who have not watched it. So, how was your experience of doing this movie, and what is your overall opinion on short films and their future in the Indian context?
Oh, I think the world of cinema started with short films. Lumia
yeah,
brothers made short films. They were the
yeah,
first films to be ever documented, short length movies.
yeah,
It's a movie at the end of the day. It's got the same
yeah,
number of departments. It's the same effort. It,
right,
you need money to make it.
yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just that because कम समय के लिए बनता है, कम पेजेस है स्क्रिप्ट के, तो कम दिन लगते हैं, तो कम पैसे लगते हैं. But
right,
it's still a story. It's like reading a
yes,
poem and reading a novel.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
it's literature at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, I was working at Phantom Films around that time, as a script consultant. This is
yeah.
2014 or 15. The director of Interior Cafe Night, Adhiraj Bose, and I went to school together.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so he's my best friend. So we've been friends
okay,
for more than a decade now, decade and a half since high school.
okay,
And so he's a film buff, and he was writing this with someone else, and he was directing it and producing it. So I came on board as a co-producer.
okay,
So I
great,
put in my money. I wanted to co-produce. I was
amazing,
more sort of experimenting behind the camera after my graduation in BFM
amazing.
because I was working with Phantom Films. I was making a
Yeah,
documentary on Indian classical music around that time, Roots.
yeah, yeah.
तो मेरा ध्यान थोड़ा behind the camera था.
Camera होता था.
And then Adhiraj was like, हाँ, तो Adhiraj ने बोला, you also act in this. I said, I don't know यार, मुझे पता नहीं मुझे acting फिर से करना है कि नहीं. I'd done a couple of
Mm.
South films and I didn't have a great time. मुझे मजा नहीं आया था.
Oh,
So I
okay,
was like, देखते हैं. So he said, no, no, do it, do it. This will be very nice, very nice. And he was right because I was working in my language again, in Bombay industry again.
correct,
And
correct.
Adhiraj was directing, and it was working with Nasir Uncle again. It was a great
Mm.
script, great subject to work on. I fell in love with acting again.
Okay,
तो वो जो सारा मेमोरी था ना मकड़ी और इकबाल का, एक और
correct.
मैंने बंगाली फिल्म की थी समीर चंदा साहब की एक्टोदीप
Mm.
गॉल्फो, वो भी बड़ा
Okay,
अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था. तो वो मेरा
okay.
सेट पे काम करने का एक्सपीरियंस फिर से लौट आया कि अरे ये तो मजेदार चीज है, मैं कैसे भूल गई है.
Yes, right.
एंड आफ्टर हाँ एंड मुझे ऑफर्स आते थे. आई यूज्ड टू कीप गेटिंग ऑडिशन कॉल्स और पीपल यूज्ड टू आस्क मी एंड आई से लाइक नो आई एम वर्किंग एट फैंटम फिल्म्स नाउ. आई एम
Yeah,
मेकिंग अ
yeah,
डॉक्यूमेंट्री, आई एम प्रोड्यूसिंग. सो नेवर एक्टिवली इंटरेस्टेड इन एक्टिंग.
yeah, yeah.
एंड एक्टिंग मैंने कभी एज अ बिजनेस देखा ही नहीं था कि
Okay.
ये करूंगी तो पॉपुलैरिटी और ये होगा तो नेटवर्किंग और
Mm.
पैसे. It's all a plus. अगर होता
Yeah.
है तो सही है, but that was never, it's never been my incentive to act. Even today, even now,
Oh,
I want to work only when I get a calling कि अच्छा ये करना है, ये मुझे मजा आएगा इसमें करने में, बस जबरदस्ती का I don't like to act. तो इंटीरियर कैफे नाइट पे काम करके बहुत मजा आया. और उसके बाद
yeah.
जितने प्रोजेक्ट्स आए, बद्रीनाथ की दुल्हनिया आया,
Brilliant,
मैंने एक
yeah.
टीवी शो किया चंद्रनंदिनी for बालाजी.
Right, right.
Then Tashkent files happened. Around that time,
Yes.
OTT was sort of, you know,
Yeah,
grasping its roots in Indian
correct.
market. तो फिर उसके बाद लाइक मेरे जैसे एक्टर्स जो हैं उनको काफी फायदा हुआ
Oh,
OTT से,
yeah,
बहुत
correct.
अच्छा काम मिलने लगा. तो हाँ, सही है.
So, were you more interested behind the camera in the writing and the directing part of the creative process or than the acting, or
I love movies. I love movies.
Love movies, yeah.
I love cinema. मैंने एक दो फिल्मों में एज अ प्रोडक्शन डिजाइनर भी काम किया है, मैंने आर्ट डायरेक्शन भी किया है,
Yeah.
और मैं कभी कभी अपने दोस्तों के फिल्मों में जाके मैं क्राउड डबिंग भी करती हूँ, जस्ट
Okay.
फॉर फन।
So when
तो
when
वो
when
मेरा,
you significant roles, yes.
आई लव फिल्म, आई लव
Yeah.
सिनेमा। तो मुझे वो नहीं है, लाइक आई एंजॉय ऑडिशंस ऑल्सो। मुझे ऑडिशंस के लिए कॉल आता है तो मैं बहुत एक्साइटेड हो जाती हूँ कि आज मैं एक्टिंग करूंगी कैमरा के सामने, मुझे फर्क नहीं पड़ता ये सेट है या ये ऑडिशन का कमरा है
And
मेरे
you
लिए।
mentioned
I wanted to ask you this because हॉलीवुड में या बाकी कोई इंडस्ट्री में ऑडिशंस इज अ रेगुलर प्रोसेस, यहाँ पे
यहाँ बहुत प्रेजुडिस है, यहाँ बहुत
people,
ईगो है, बहुत एक्टर्स में ईगो, बिकॉज दे हैव बिकम बिगर देन द आर्ट, अ लॉट ऑफ
mm,
एक्टर्स। Thankfully, touch wood for me right now, cinema is still bigger than me. I am still learning. I still want my to give my 100%. तो वो मेरी तरफ आता है तो मुझे बहुत ब्लेसिंग लगती है, तो मैं उसकी तरफ 100% जाती हूँ।
you still
मुझे
enjoy
वो
the process of auditions and
एवरीथिंग, ऑडिशन, डबिंग, रिजेक्शन, अगर बहुत अच्छा लगा प्रोजेक्ट नहीं मिला तो ऐसा लगता है प्रोजेक्ट बहुत अच्छा है, अच्छे एक्टर को मिलना चाहिए, वो प्रोजेक्ट से सफर नहीं
correct,
करना, इट डजंट मैटर इफ आई डोंट गेट इट।
correct.
so we briefly touched upon this, right? Tashkent files and Mumbai lockdown.
सॉरी, आपका जो पिछला प्रश्न था वो थोड़ा अधूरा रह गया कि
Yeah,
शॉर्ट फिल्म्स को लेकर मैं क्या सोचती हूँ। मुझे
yeah.
लगता है अभी भी इंडिया में प्लेटफॉर्म्स बहुत कम है शॉर्ट फिल्म्स के, और
Mm,
उस वजह से ऑडियंस ज्यादा एक्सप्लोर नहीं कर पाती है। आई थिंक वी डेफिनेटली नीड ओटीटी चैनल्स और मोर
channels
यूट्यूब
too.
चैनल्स फॉर शॉर्ट फिल्म्स, फॉर डॉक्यूमेंट्रीज,
Yeah,
बिकॉज काफी अदरवाइज जो मोनोपोली है कमर्शियल हिंदी सिनेमा की वो बहुत ज्यादा है। वो ओटीटी के
correct.
आने के बाद जैसे कोरियन ड्रामा हो गया या इंटरनेशनल कंटेंट हो गया या
Yes, yes.
मलयालम फिल्म्स का जैसे एक चलन हुआ है इस वक्त, वो एक्सपोजर की वजह से ही हुआ है ना, क्योंकि लोग देख रहे हैं तो
Correct.
लोग समझ रहे हैं कि यार एक टाइप का फिल्म नहीं है, और भी सिनेमा है।
Correct.
एंड दैट्स व्हाई सो मेनी हिंदी फिल्म्स दैट आर नॉट गुड are falling flat on their faces because they're not good simply. But earlier consumption में आप वो भी consume कर रहे थे because there was nothing
Correct.
else to do. So now it's great and everything needs to coexist. I'm a huge Bollywood buff. I
Yeah.
love Bollywood films. मैं अभी 3 Idiots रिलीज हुई थी तो मैं दोबारा देखने गई थी। I'm a huge बच्चन
Mm,
फैन। मैं तो
yeah, yeah.
दीवार और काला पत्थर में थिएटर में देखने गई थी। ऋषिकेश मुखर्जी, यश चोपड़ा,
Of course.
सलीम जावेद। Oh, I watched सलीम जावेद एंग्री यंग मैन।
You saw
I
it
like
in
that a
live,
lot. Yeah, I
yes.
loved it.
Very
मैंने वो भी
well made,
देखा
yeah, yeah,
recently. Yeah, it's very well made.
yeah.
So yeah, so I love Bollywood films, but I also love Kiarostami. I also
Yeah.
like Malayalam films. I'm
Of
also a
course, of
part
course.
parcel fan.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, so
yeah.
I think everything needs to coexist, just like cinema and series and documentaries and short films.
Yes.
So I think short film still has a little time that वो और ज्यादा लोग look forward करें, उसे देखने से ज्यादा प्लेटफॉर्म
Yeah.
आए तो अच्छा होगा।